Hello, Aisha. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Jordan. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, welcome to today's Energy Talk episode. And yeah, we have created a really nice podcast format, as we told already. And yeah, it's about inspiring people. It's about yeah, get a feeling of how the different lives of people looks like. And because we are so individual, everybody, and yeah, we don't like to have the picture of having one role model. We because we are so different, and so therefore we really like to have a look in different types of yeah, people and personalities out there. So today, a special guest, the two-time Olympian Aisha. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And it's funny that you talk about inspiring because I met you and your wife and your kids in Aves, Portugal. I was inspired. I was like, I want to live their lives. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, the nice thing about inspiration is that it could be both sides. So that's the nice thing about, and it's definitely one. And I would say there's not a scala, or that you cannot really measure inspiration or not. Or is this more inspirational than other things? It's just, is it inspirational or not? And yeah, but
Yeah.
thanks for the thanks. That's also nice to hear because yeah, maybe for the people who watch and they listen. Yeah, we live in the camper van, and we travel through Europe with our family. We have two small kids. They are 2 and 4 years old, and yeah, we have no apartments in Germany. So it's yeah, we left, we sold everything, and yeah, the world is our home, so to say.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah,
And you get to travel and you get to work out and you get to meet all these people. It's such a beautiful life that you're living.
yeah, definitely. But for sure, to be honest and to be complete, it's also, you have to mention that not every day is sunshine day, and we also have our kind of daily struggle or daily life, and I guess it would refer to everybody's life in the end. But
Yeah.
sure, sometimes life is easier if you are at the beach, for example. And yeah, for example, we are in December. Oh, we are yeah, it's short before Christmas, and we are in the at the beach, and the kids can play in the sand. It's not usual in Germany that that is possible, and I guess in Boston it's also, or in the Northern America it's also not possible right now.
Yeah.
And so therefore, yeah, we are kind of privileged, and we're really grateful that we can live this life. And so maybe let us be our first question. How grateful are you in life, well, for what you achieved already, or for the life you already lived?
Wow, we're diving straight into that.
That's the
I'm
deep dive.
I'm always very grateful of the life I have because I feel like where I am right now, I have a job, I have a husband, I have a house, I have my body that, I can go training, I can do a lot of things with my body. I'm grateful for health. Um, I'm also grateful for the ability to, travel. So that's how we met in Portugal. And I'm always thinking about how grateful I am because I started off, so growing up in Singapore, I wouldn't say like we are poor in any means, but I came from as like a single parent family. So my parents divorced when I was 4 years old. So grew up with my mom, with four brothers. So there were five of us. So like we didn't get to maybe spend as much, and I'm always thinking about money since I was young because we are limited in money. And in the position where I'm in right now, where me and my husband, both of us are working, and we don't have kids at the moment, I wouldn't say we are wealthy, but
Mhm.
we don't have to think about money all the time. So I'm
Yes.
always grateful. Like Thanksgiving just passed, and it's the holiday season, and we're buying things for our friends and family members. Like I used to remember, like I always have to restrict myself from buying. I used to when I started working as a coach part time. I constantly have to check my bank account to see if I have enough money to spend. And now I'm in a position where even when my pay comes in, like I don't even know what days it comes in. I'm so grateful to be in this position. And but then of course, like it didn't come easily. Like of course there were struggles and all that, but that's definitely one thing that I'm very grateful for, just being in a position where I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah, great. And yeah, that's but you mentioned the progress, and I guess it's sometimes it's important to yeah you it's more yeah, or maybe the other way around. It's sometimes it's more easier if you experience it differently, and if it's not yeah if it's not the normal life that you yeah, don't have to check the bank account, or for example, if you want to buy something for friends or not even for yourself. So yeah, it's kind of, oh, is there really money on there? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's I would say you mentioned you can transfer it if you don't know if you don't value the sunshine day, you cannot think about them in the rainy days. So,
Exactly.
but after rain always comes the sun. We tell in German, and I guess it's maybe the same in every other language as well. And yeah, that's some kind some it's really very true in my opinion, because you can you often forget what is also possible.
Mhm.
So you get your life, what you have as normal, and you're very fast in forgetting what is before or what could happen else. Um, for example, when I look back at my rowing career, when I have my success and my biggest achievements, it's really nice to be on the podium on the World Championships and so, or to hear the national anthem. But you really forgot the hours of training you put in. It's just, oh, nice. I want more of them because the feeling is so nice. So it's kind of irrational. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes, very true. Because I'm just starting to train for another marathon. So I ran a few marathons in 2022,
Hmm.
so about 3 years ago. And I remember like suffering during training and also during the race. Like it was terrible. And
Yes.
you start questioning yourself why you do this. And then now I'm going through this process again, and I'm like, okay, wait, I have to remember that I suffered. Like it's nice to complete a marathon, but the process itself was
Mhm.
really hard. So
And the
it's similar.
marathon is a good example because it's not finished after 10 minutes or after 6, 7 minutes of a rowing race. It's a little longer.
It's a little longer.
So it's more time to think and to reflect. And yeah, so the mental strengths, in my opinion, the mental strengths or the importance of mental strength during a race increases with the amount of time you need to complete or to finish the race. So
Very,
the
very true.
triathlon competitions or the running competitions, marathon, or for example the Ironman for the triathletes. In the end, after completing 180 Ks, they completed a marathon. So when they start, yeah, they are already finished 180 K of a bike and 3.8 kilometers on the swim. So yeah, you could do it on 3 days, and you are tough. It's tough, but they do it on one day. So
Yeah.
yeah, and what other people think, okay, maybe I can complete a marathon only. And it's also a big achievement because we are so different, and not everybody of us has a sporting background.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
So I maybe relating to your story a little bit, because when you say you want to run a marathon, I would really want I am interested in what is your goal for the marathon? Because the background of the question is a lot of sportsmen or sports people I get to know have really high expectations of themselves. So it's not, I guess the goal is not complete the marathon,
Yeah.
as maybe 90% of the people. So yeah, because what we really learn in sports is to have high ambitions.
Yeah. I
What
like
is,
it that I'm in the company of like high level athletes.
yes, definitely, yeah.
So 3 years ago when I ran my last marathon, I did a 3 hours, 16 minutes. And when I finished the marathon, I wasn't tired.
Okay.
And I felt like I could do more, but because I wanted to get back into rowing, I kind of like stopped running or stopped training for like long distance for running. So my goal, I feel like I want to get back into marathon running because as much as the long runs really hurt. Like it's not painful like rowing, but it's more painful like mentally because every
Mhm.
weekend I remember going out and running like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
Um, and I hated it. It's not like I enjoyed it, I hated it, but I miss that feeling of doing something that I hate, doing something that I like that I suffer through.
Mhm.
I miss that feeling of suffering. That's crazy to say, but it's true. Like, I want to go back into that mindset of like, okay, if I feel a bit uncomfortable, if I feel like giving up, what am I going to do? So I
Mhm.
want to put myself back in that position, and I feel like training for a marathon is the best way to do it. And of course, like you said, I will have goals more than just completing a marathon. Eventually, I want to run a sub 3 hour, but I don't think it's going to be realistic in the next year. I think it's just getting back to it and try to do a 3:15, then bring it down to 3:10. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So the vision is breaking the 3 hours barrier. Would be
Yes. But
definitely impressive. 3 hours, it's pretty fast.
it's
And
very
yeah,
fast. Not there
nice,
yet, but one day.
nice. Yeah. So that's I guess the watching people get an impression of high expectations because 3 hours it's not yeah, you put your shoes on and get a run out there. So you
Yeah.
definitely have a lot of training. And for me, it definitely sounds understandable that you missed the feeling of, yeah, being tired and a little bit sacrifice yourself. I would
Yeah.
say yeah, it's kind of a character trait of sports people, especially for rowing people, because you really want to hurt yourself a little bit,
Yes.
not in a sadomasochistic way. It's more like, yeah, you want to figure out where's your limit. And when you
Mm.
reach your limit, you always recognize, okay, I could go more.
Yeah.
Because the limit, a coach of mine said to me always, is it your body or is it your brain?
Mm-hmm.
When you think, and that's the answer already, that you cannot go faster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting because our brain is trained to block us because it wants to avoid damage in the body. And
Yeah.
it's good to have this kind of mechanism, but in ambitious high performance sports, you really
It's
want
not.
to be at the best. And yeah, but maybe to take a little bit view around, and I'm really interested in maybe in some words of your opinion, how are you able to be at the start line of your first Olympics? What is the, yeah,
So the first
what do you started rowing while having the dream at competing at the Olympics, or is it coming
Oh,
later?
no, not at all. I started rowing in 2005, and my goal was just to represent Singapore. Uh,
Hmm?
Olympics is not a big thing in Singapore, so I don't really think about Singapore, just thinking about the regional games, the Southeast Asian, the Asian games. And like there were no rowers in Singapore who has qualified for the Olympic Games before. So it's like something I didn't even think about.
Hmm.
And I think it was one of the Southeast Asian races where I beat this rower from Thailand. And at that point in time, she was a three-time Olympian. And that was when I realized that, like, kind of like that mentality hit me like, if I can beat her, like, if I can beat a three-time Olympian, I can be an Olympian. So that was the first time it clicked. And then I realized, like, okay, I need to do more than this to get to the Olympics. What do I have to do? So it's like, I remember like it was like a puzzle piece, like, okay, I need the coaching, I need the training environment, I need this,
Hmm.
I need to put aside my job, I need more time. So that was the first thing that like came to my mind was that race that I won.
Okay, nice. And was it easy to be on the start line then?
No, of course not. It took me from the moment I beat her to when I qualified, it was 3 years. Because the qualification is every 4 years, right? Every the Olympic cycle. And it required me to quit my job. I was teaching, so I had to put aside my job. And in Singapore, there was no training for rowing, no proper training environment. So I had to travel to Australia to train. So means like saving up money for that. So I used to have this when I was teaching, I had like savings. And it was called the marriage fund. Like I wanted to use it for my wedding, but I
Hmm.
used all the money for rowing. So I told myself like, okay, I'm married to this sport. And in Australia, Sydney is very expensive. So I remember when I was training, buying food, paying rent. I remember there was one time when I was paying for grocery and my card didn't work. Like I had negative balance in my bank. So that was the first time that it hit me, okay, like I cannot survive doing this. I have to do something about it. So I created a crowd fund to help me train through to the Olympic qualification. Yeah, so that's why I'm always like grateful about having money because money is like you don't like people say you don't need money to survive, but you do need money as a basic need, as a basic human
Yes.
need to survive in this human world. Um, so after that crowdfunding, thankfully, like Singaporeans were very supportive. There were a lot of people who were supportive. It got me through the Olympic cycle. And yeah, I qualified. So it didn't just like, oh, attend qualification and qualify. It was definitely more than that.
Okay, and I guess the feeling of competing at the Olympics then was definitely the highlight of your rowing career because it's so becoming a dream, a vision. It's becoming realistic because you beat the three-time Olympian, and okay, from this point you really believe that you are able to complete it,
Yeah.
and then you really did it, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel fulfilled?
No, but that's where the I guess the mentality kind of like broke down somewhere in there because the qualification was the goal. The qualify was the goal.
Hmm.
And then between qualifications, so I qualified in April and the games Olympic Games was in August. Between April to August, because I was the first Olympic rower from Singapore and all that, I was distracted. I had interviews, I had photo shoots. I was still training, but my mindset was, oh, I qualified. Who cares
Hmm.
about the Olympics? And I didn't had anyone to like tell me like the Olympics is as important as qualification because I was the first to get there.
Hmm.
So my performance didn't it just maintained. It didn't like go up or didn't go down. And I remembered being at the Olympic Games and my performance wasn't great because not only was it the same like level I was when I was in April, but also my mindset was, oh, I qualified, like this is just for fun. So that was the biggest regret I have in terms of the first Olympic Games. Like I wish I had I had I had someone who told me like the qualification is one part, but going to the Olympics and doing your best is the second part, which I didn't. I was just out there having fun and told myself like, oh, it's the first Olympic Games, who cares? It's
Okay, but
terrible that I'm saying it out loud right now.
yeah, but I would say that's really important that we highlight at this point you're the first one, the first not only in rowing, it's the first first person of Singapore, right?
No, 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 in rowing.
Ah, okay. So the
Yeah.
first person in rowing, and so, but nevertheless, it's yeah, you really have to figure out. It's really kind of impossible to think about if you're a German rower, for example, because I would say the maybe I did compete at the first Olympics or so. So it's kind of yeah, natural that the Olympics are with German rowers, for example. And
Mm,
but it's for not for every but a country is natural, and it's really need some kind of belief and purpose if you want to be a first person to make a breakthrough like this. So really want to highlight the success. It's therefore what I want to say is that you can really understand that the focus shifted from the successful qualification because that was the goal. Because if you didn't complete the successful qualification, you cannot go to the Olympics. So it should be the goal in advance. And I guess because the goal shifted, therefore came the motivation for having the second Olympic participation, right?
yes, yes. That's why like I feel I didn't manage to perform to my best
Hmm.
abilities. So that's why I wanted to train for the next Olympic Games. But I retired 2 years after the first Olympic Games. Do you want to hear the story of the retirement?
Yeah, sure. If you want to share it, because
Yeah.
you in the end you are we can spoil that you are able to manage a second participation, but as we can already hear, it's a story of a lot of yeah character tests, I would say. I guess
Yeah.
because it's not okay. I completed the first Olympics participation, and okay, just going to the next. It's some story in between, and yeah, sure, you can share if you want.
Yeah, I think going through that process of going to the Olympics and going back to normal life, I think that phase is definitely harder than training for the Olympics because training for the Olympics, you have that goal, you have like, okay, I made
Mhm,
this. After the Olympics, the goal is 4 years later, which is so far away.
mhm,
So transiting back to normal life was really hard. Like you train full time and then you go back to an office job. It's it's
yes.
it's out of the world. It's crazy. It's crazy to
Mhm,
think of how people do it. So I couldn't do it. I every time I was sitting in my office desk, because I wasn't a teacher then, but I was working with a lot of student athletes in a
mhm,
school, so a lot of office work. I remember just didn't want to be there, like asking myself questions like, why am I doing this? Especially coming up from a high of an Olympic Games. So I left that job and I spent 2 years kind of like finding myself. I was traveling, I was coaching, I was just trying to find out what's next for me. So that's when like I traveled to Boston to coach, and that's where I met my husband. And he kind of like changed my perspective on like this training cycle, this Olympics, because he said on the first date, he said, if you were to train for the next Olympic Games, and then you qualify and then the Olympic Games finish, you will still be at the same spot, except that you're 4 years older. And I was like, that is very true. Like I didn't had a job, I didn't had a husband then. I was just like lost. So that was when I realized, okay, I need to make up my mind to retire,
mhm,
focus on my professional career, and then we'll see where things go from there.
mhm,
That was when I found him. I mean, like met him, moved to US, found a job here, got married. And then after I feel like I've met all my needs or the basic needs, I have everything stable, I'm happy as a person. Then in 2023, I thought, okay, I'm still fit and strong. Maybe I should try out for this qualification. So I started training again. So it was definitely, I think, out of the whole athletic journey of my
mhm.
life, I think that retirement after the first Olympic Games was the hardest part of my life because I was just so lost. Like I didn't know who I was, what I could do. Yeah, and it wasn't a nice feeling to have.
I really can imagine, and it's very interesting that you describe your process like this because it's so related to, for example, to our coaching or mentoring because we really believe that every person has its own peak performance, and peak
Mm,
performance we define it's the simply the best version of yourself. So especially in high performance sports, you can really measure it good because if you want to go to Olympics, having Olympic medal also, you in the end you achieve it or you achieve it not. So it's very simple to measure, but it's a little bit more difficult when it comes to life. And our assumption is that we all have four columns in life. The first column is financial abundance. It's
mm,
about how you gain money. You mentioned it. It's if you don't have money, it's not important to are rich or are wealthy, but you have to have money to live or and to survive. So it's the first column is about how you gain money, how is your cash flow.
mhm,
Second column is about it's health, and it's not about not being sick. It's about how high can your energy level be, how vital and how alive can you feel, and or for example, how strong are you feeling. And the
mhm,
third column is love, and it's about how authentic you are and how authentic you can be in your environment, in your social environment, because we all have social environments, and the question is how supportive or not are this the environment. And the last one is spirituality. It's about how fulfilled do you feel in life, and what do you really nice describe. So therefore, I mentioned the columns is that after your first Olympic participation, you really feel that the columns are not equally strong.
mm,
So therefore, the next goal for the Olympics wouldn't be a satisfaction for you
mhm,
because, as your husband mentioned, or the later husband, and this time at the first date, mentioned you were at the same place. So it's not a progress and the development of in the next 4 years. So you basically worked on the other columns,
mhm,
ta bringing shifting you on a new level, and so therefore you because your ambitions changed.
mhm,
The first goal was okay, I want to be at the Olympics. Okay, I want to make the qualification. The qualification is the goal. Then you make the qualification, and then it's finished, right?
yeah.
So the focus shifted, and okay, it's just competing at the Olympics, having fun, so to say. And the next one is okay, I want to perform at my best level at the Olympics. So a really different focus. And for sure, you also have to qualify in before. It's right, but it's a very different focus, and you really shifted yourself on the next level. And I would guess that you agree that you're a really different person or having a different identity feeling of yourself, right? In comparison of your two Olympic participations, right?
Yes. Yeah, no, I like that four columns. I actually just wrote it down. I
Yes.
think I think yeah, it's true. It's important. Like the first Olympic cycle, I had that fulfillment. I think that was more of like the spirituality part. I had that health. I was strong. I was fit. Probably love. I had love for the sport, right? But I didn't had the financial. I didn't had any foundation of like, okay, if
Mhm.
I finish the Olympic Games, what am I? Like, there's
Yes.
nothing there. So having this four as like a foundation, a base, the column is so important and it's so true.
Yeah, nice. And the nice thing about this is that you also can transfer it in life. So
Mm,
and in the end, it's not only the columns. It has a roof because we say it's a temple, and
hmm
the temple has a roof, and the roof is our vision. So it's a direction where we want to go to. In
mm,
sports, it's or for example now it's maybe the I would say maybe I would guess that it's not the goal of the marathon 3 sub hours. That's not a part of the vision. It's more family or I don't know or for more life or yeah life issues because it shifted from sports. Okay, what else can it be? Because sport in the end is a bubble, and we really like to live in this bubble. But in the end, we really realized, okay, when we have a look outside, or maybe when we go to travel, we really met ourselves and we really met some amazing people and see, okay, what really life can offer us to us. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so proud and so much opportunities. And the question in the end is, okay, can we how can we achieve something? And
Mm-hmm.
this question is really interesting because we really can transfer from, especially from sports people, because they have proven that they are successful.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you have made this decision, you have set your goal 2 times, and it's a high goal, high level goal, and you completed it both times. And in between, you reassigned your goal because, okay, I retire because I really feel it's not a progress. It could be that you say, okay, I want to be in my next Olympics, and you didn't retire, and then you're not satisfied today. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We both don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe changing direction is also kind of character strength, right?
Yeah. 100%. So true. And it goes back to what you were saying before, like whatever that happens like in training when you're at the podium and you receive a medal, you don't
Mhm.
think about all the hard work that you've put in.
Yes.
And it's the same thing now, like transitioning from sports to life, like let's bringing my experiences as an athlete to other parts of my life because it has taught me a lot. That's why I was able to get to the Olympics twice because there's skills that I have that I need to like intentionally put in other areas of my life because otherwise it will just be like, oh, I don't remember that I suffered through
Yes.
this rowing career.
When you look at your previous life, not only the rowing, it's also the general life. It's I would say it's important. Um, well, what would you say is a prerequisite for success if you want to achieve a goal, no matter what it is?
Good question. I think having clarity of the goal, like what is it and why you want it, because that journey is going to be hard and you will question yourself why you do it. It's the same thing as like running a marathon, right? You question yourself. So knowing the why is important and clarity in terms of what are the steps that I need to take to reach the goal. Because I remember going to the training for the Olympics, it seemed so far away because no other Singaporean rower has reached that stage. But when I break it down into, okay, I qualify for this, and then I made my 2K score here and here, it makes it more visible and it makes it more manageable. So it's not scary. Um, and that's one thing. And I think the other one is just commitment to the goal, that discipline, whatever that you have from your athletic career, waking up every day to do the work, to do the hard work, no matter how much you hate it, like marathon training, no matter how much you hate the long runs, you go out there and get it done. I think that's important to get the work done and to reach your goal.
Definitely, yeah. And what you really described is maybe we can transfer it back to the model of the 4 columns that in our peak performance, in your peak performance stadium, you are able to get the second participation of the Olympics. So that's the benchmark. It's your peak performance. And when you started training again, it's the status quo. So there's a gap between the status quo and your peak performance, and you are able to reduce the gap and manage at the being at the Olympics. And I guess your peak performance you think of was be at your best version. What could be, right?
Yeah.
Are you having a specific goal in mind, or are you want to be, I don't know, in the final or in the semi-final, or is it just be the best, strongest version of yourself, or what was the goal?
The second Olympics, my goal was to better my timing for the 2K at the
Hmm.
game, to
Okay.
better the ranking. So there was I guess a position goal, but also to have fun. Because I
Okay.
remember
Nice.
the first Olympic Games, I was so stressed. I did not have fun.
Hmm.
But now going into the second games, I was a little bit older. I was more matured. Yeah, I was having so much more fun, and I think that was important for me.
Definitely, because you really describe both aspects of yeah, of success in the end.
Mm,
Want to have a specific goal in mind or a specific position, no matter what it is, and having fun while enjoying the progress or while being at the Olympics, and not after finishing the rowing part and then okay, now I can enjoy because yeah, maybe it's too late. I don't know. And yeah, it's really interesting what you describe. I would definitely agree. Um, I would reframe it a little bit. Maybe you can say what you think about the explanation I have. I would We call it the when you have a gap from your status quo to your peak performance. It should not be the Olympic participation, could be, but it doesn't have to be. We would say the prerequisite for success is your regulation ability.
mm,
So, because the columns, the status quo of the columns, it's not stable.
mhm.
It's a progress. It's shifting all the time. And
Yeah,
I guess you can really imagine that, especially with thoughts and emotions, we have a lot of thoughts every day. It could change, the perception of the column could change in seconds.
yeah,
So it depends really in which time timing you made, I don't know, in the results or some analysis. So what I want to say is that the status quo of the column is not fixed. It's like a kind of volatile. So
mhm,
it's shifting all the way. And what our goal always is to bring it on a higher level, the status quo in general, while reducing the amplitude.
mm,
So you always uh, see it. For example, some people are okay on a one day, it's the best mood ever, and the next day it's the worst mood ever. So
mm,
the amplitude is very high, and you also know some people who are in general good mood, slightly calm, always a little bit of smiling, not too much, but a little bit, and you always think of okay, they look really relaxed.
yeah.
You know, I guess you have some people in mind, and
Yes.
that's always our goal to moving up the progress. And we really figured out that you have the regulation splits into two parts. The first part is the physical part, because as we mentioned, we talked about money. It's a prerequisite definitely to have some money at least, but the minimum prerequisite is a healthy body,
Hmm.
because if we are not healthy, we cannot do anything. So, but it's in the first time it's the healthiness of the body, and the second part is okay, how high can the energy level be? So we really have to think about okay, how many inflammation I had in my body, how many um, do I really have to, is it possible? Is my nutrition good? Is my digestion good? And it's kind of funny, but we always get some question. Okay, how can we measure if my physical regulation is good? And we always answer toilet paper.
What?
Yeah, it's the amount of toilet paper you need when you are on the toilet, because if you have a look in for the animals in the nature, they didn't have
You look
toilet
at their
paper.
poop. Yeah.
And
Interesting.
so therefore, in the end, if our digestion is working really good, combined with the nutrition, it's measured can be measured in the amount of toilet paper.
I
Kind of
like that.
funny, but yeah,
It's
it's
true.
sometimes it's true, and we really like to have some basic principles that you can reduce complex mechanisms into easy understandable. Yeah, and toilet paper is easy understandable, I guess. I guess it could not be any easier.
That's
And the sec
awesome.
and the second part, the non-physical part, we call it the energetic regulation. Everything that's non-physical, it's about limiting beliefs, for example. It's about mental blocks. It's about stress, anxiety in your system. If you want to perform really, if you really want to perform, but you always, when it counts, you are not able to, for
Mm,
example. So these kind of patterns, that's our specialty because we are energetic teachers, my wife and myself, and we really dig deep into this. But the first thing is having the physical regulation, and the second thing afterwards is the energetic regulation. And if these are two screws we can use to get to our peak performance.
mhm. Yeah, I
Do you
like
like
that.
do you like do you like this kind of approach?
I really like that approach because it makes it simple, it makes sense, right? And I think it also helps people because to be aware of your financial, your health, your love, your spirituality, you need to know yourself. You
Yes.
need to have self-awareness. And I 100% believe that everyone should have self-awareness. Like the world is a shit show right now because people don't have self-awareness.
Yes.
Because they don't know how to regulate themselves.
Yes.
Um, and they expect others to change, but you can't change another person. You can only change yourself. I like this because it's something that you can focus on, which and something that you can change, which is yourself. So even in my mental skills work and all that with athletes, the first step is to gain awareness on what goes inside your head. And for you guys, you're more of like the body parts, like the health part. So knowing what goes inside your body is important as well. So I really like this. I think we're on the same page on this.
Definitely, and it's really nice. The only thing that I really mentioned this is because you really describe it with your words, and you really can see, and therefore it's interesting for for the audience in the end that you really described your progress and your development from participation of the first Olympic Games to the second one. And if you take a look from the outside, it's okay. She's two-time Olympian, nice. I guess she will definitely reach every goal she will. So it looks easy from the outside. Okay, it's two-time Olympian. Okay, better than one-time maybe Olympians, but yeah, okay, yeah. So it looks easy, and when you have a deeper look inside, you really see, okay, there's a person there, and you have also struggles in daily life. It's not a straight progress. Okay, first Olympic, second Olympic. You're really good to describe it. So therefore, it's about balancing the levels every time, every second, every day, every week, every month, every year in the end, and
Mm-hmm.
building consciousness about how can I change a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because you change, you realized, and that's what you did in the end. Okay, I could be at my second Olympics, but then I definitely missed the other columns.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know the framework these times, but you really had the intuition. Okay, something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my identity is missing some aspects,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we are really believing, that the identity in the end creates our success if
Mm-hmm.
we know who we are inside.
Yeah. But it's so hard to reach that level of having awareness of your identity, right? It took me 2 years to discover that. And just a question that my then boyfriend was, our date was asking, like, you're going to be at the same place 4 years later. It took someone to ask me. Otherwise, I'll be like still going for the Olympic Games or still training, still stuck in my own ways. So finding that level takes a lot. And I don't know a lot of what, but a lot of work, a lot of talking to people. I think everyone has their own ways on
Mhm.
searching for themselves and finding their own identity and asking themselves this question, like, where are my four columns? But yeah, I don't think it's easy for just someone to be like, yeah, let's look at where I am financially, where I am health wise, and all that.
Yeah, but the important thing is that you're open because your
Yeah,
both boyfriend at this time could say anything. If you're not open, you didn't pay attention.
that is
Be-
true.
So therefore, it's maybe someone could ask or could say the same thing before or later on. It doesn't matter because in this time, in this moment, and you really remember it today because it's making long-lasting impact for you. And so therefore, it's kind of changing perception in this timing. And so therefore, it's really important. But I would say that you're open to allow yourself, okay, maybe I want to say that you have the intuition, something is missing, and your boyfriend in this time just explained this gap
Mm.
or find some words who you that you really could understand. And sometimes we need people from the outside to explain uh, yeah, progress or some situations from our insides because we are too close to ourselves to recognize it. And sometimes I really had a lot of people I speak with, and they always I always get the feedback, for example, and it's for me it's really touching because I really like to help people that they can tell me, I don't know, 15 minutes monologue, and afterwards I say one or two sentences and they say, okay, yeah, that's it. It's not that I want to say that's kind of yeah, disturb or I don't know, or that's not what I want to say, but that you sometimes we are thinking outside the box and okay, explaining, and that could be an option, that could be an option, and sometimes it's simple.
Mm.
It's not always the toilet paper, but it's sometimes a little bit more complex for sure. But it's the success, in our opinion, is really dependent on how easy can you explain the situation.
Mm. Yeah, I like that. I like having that. You forget sometimes because you're so used to your own ways, you forget to be open to the world.
Yes,
And I like that. That is so important to be able to accept what other people say. Because if it was something that my mom said, I would be like, no.
yes, that's also an approach that you sometimes need something to hear from third party and not
Yeah.
from your husband, not from your wife, not from your family. They could say the same thing. And then, oh, and it's so important to me. And your husband saying, oh, what the hell?
I've been saying this for years.
Yeah, my wife is the same sometimes. And when I have a really nice idea, and she said, okay, I talked to you about 1 year about this issue, and now you had this idea. Okay, nice. Okay. When we closing the circle and coming to an end for today, do you really? We touched a lot of topics, and I guess we can really make a good insight, and the audience can get a really good insight of what is important to have success in the end. Is there anything important from your opinion you want to add, or you want to encourage or to inspire the audience? What would you say?
I must say though, I've been through like several podcast interviews, and it's usually just like more of like the surface level stuff about like how I qualified, what got me there. But this podcast kind of like allowed me to kind of remind myself, like I love the idea of the four columns. I love like you kind of like remind me of like, yes, be open to the world. You like thinking of the identity, thinking of self-awareness. It's just good reminders, and it's more in depth, and it comes with a lot of like things that people I feel can take away even though they're not elite athletes, because it happens to everyone. People feel stuck, or people are stuck in their own ways or in their own identities, or maybe even like, I don't know, your audience might be people who are moving from one phase of their life to another. And I was in that stage where I was competing and then now in a workspace. So there's a lot that I hope your audience can learn from, because I have learned a lot from you. And usually in a podcast, like, you learn from me, but this time around, I have learned a lot from you.
Yeah, it
So
depends. Yeah.
yeah, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. And again, like, it coming from, like, we have been talking about these little things, like how my then boyfriend was like telling me this one thing, and then it kind of like changed my life. Um, and how we met. Like, I was just in the gym working out, and you guys were working out. Like, these small things that happen in life are so powerful, so impactful. And I put it in my Instagram stories when I was in Portugal as well, that I was stuck in Lisbon for another night because the airport was a nightmare. And just from that um, experience, I met my old friend from Ireland, and I made two other friends. And one's like very inspiring, has his own like Instagram stuff and all that. It's just these small moments that like, life goes on so fast and you forget about treasuring these little moments in life. So I'm grateful that I bumped into you guys in Portugal and have this opportunity to share.
Yeah, thanks. I cannot add anything special to this because yeah, let it be the last words. And yes, thank you for your insights, for the nice talk. It makes a lot of fun for me as well, and I definitely learned also a lot. I can say. And yeah, thanks, Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much.